This is the book of Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp here in Trinidad with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai. First and foremost, Kal Halayam, La Alahayanawa, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakah Kodash. Alright? Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, salutations unto the brothers who preaching and teaching the truth through the four corners of the earth in all truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Shalom unto the speckled Israelites who looks like the other nations, but are Israel through their forefatherly lineage, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akawats. So this video here, the name of this video is Christians. Alright, Christians, you Christians knows nothing about the scriptures. And that is a very bold statement that I'm making. Alright, you Christians, you knows nothing about the scriptures. You don't even have the slightest clue. Alright, concerning the narrative of the scriptures, who the scriptures is dealing with, who the scriptures is for, and what have you. Alright, so it going into a video. This video is going back into a video what I've done about 2 days back, to be exact. Alright, concerning a guy by the name of Jordan McLeod YouTube channel. Alright, now he had posed a question, right, concerning if slavery had never happened, would we so-called Israelites, well, he called some other groups who like 5%ers, and what they call them again, it's the Nation of Islam and whatever, Black Panther and whatever, you know. If it would have had these things, if slavery never happened. Alright, and the thing is with this guy, I'm gonna go back to the Isaiah. The thing is with this individual. Alright? If he was doing this here, alright, obeying just this simple command here. Alright? Isaiah 8 and 20, to the law, and to the testimony of what? The testimony. Let's go into that word testimony.
Strong's H 8584. Teudah.
All right, good. I love this book, boy. I love the Bible, boy. All right, testimony, attestation, confirmation. All right, confirmation goes into what? I wonder if I could get it from, let me see, web search. Confirmation is verification or final proof. Woo! Confirmation is verification or final proof of something in the church. All right. All right. In the church, confirmation is the rite in which a person is awarded full acceptance into, i.e., confirmed in the religion usually presented in a set that goes into Roman Catholic doctrine, right? That wickedness of Roman Catholic doctrine. All right. But we go in with the first definition, which is verification or final proof of something. All right. So let's go back. All right. So testimony, attestation, confirmation, testimony, prophetic. All right. Prophetic injunction. All right. I, I don't think I should have to go into the word prophetic for you Christians. All right. To return, to repeat, go about, do again, to surround, go around, to restore, because hey, when you go back to the word and bring out the word in its true and right form, and break it down the proper way for the Israelites, all right, it does what? It restores their memory. It brings back their memory, right? Which is what? Slavery. When they go and speak about the truth concerning our slavery in the scriptures, all right, it makes us return, right? Makes us start to repeat what? Repeat the laws, statutes, and commandment, all right? To do again, go again, go around, go about, right? Go about what? Seeking the Lord through the scriptures, all right? To restore, to relieve, to bring relief, to be restored, to bear witness, right? To bear witness, say again and again, to bear, to testify, to bear witness, to cause to testify, or to call, or take or call as witness, all right? To protest, and this is what we're doing, right? We're protesting with the scriptures concerning our nationality, which was stolen from us, all right? Done loving this already. Here's my spirit there, boy. All right? So, let's go back to the law and to the testimony if they speak not according to this word. So, to the proof, to the law and the proof, right? If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. And you, Jordan McLeod, all right, YouTube channel, you has no light within you. Okay? Let's go back. Let's go now. I'm going now again to Deuteronomy 1:1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel. Unto all Israel. The reason why I'm going back to this here, and I'm even taking more time, because yesterday, although the video was 40-something minutes, but I kind of rushed in a bit, but still the point was still made. All right? These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side Jordan in the wilderness. All right? So you're seeing here, it's Israel and Israel only. Right? In the plain against the river, against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tufel and Laban and Hazeroth and Dizahab. All right? So you're seeing there, it's Israel the Lord is speaking to. So now, Deuteronomy 28:1, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, all right? Unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high, above all nations. Because when you go to Deuteronomy 7:6, I think, or 6:7. 7:6, Deuteronomy 7:6, it reads, For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. All right? So the children of Israel is above all the people upon the face of the earth. Although we are at a low state at the moment, all right? But we are above all the other nations upon the face of the earth. Okay? So now, let's continue. The Lord did not set his love upon you nor choose you, right? Because you were more in number than any people. For you were the fewest, of all people. But because the Lord loved you and because he would keep the oath, which he had sworn unto our fathers, right? The Lord had brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. All right? So we are above, right? We are above all nations upon the face of the earth. All right? So let's go back now. To Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And it shall, right? And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations upon the face of the earth. Right? And all these blessings shall come upon thee and overtake thee if thou wilt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. So now, the thing is, I had asked that Jordan McLeod some particular questions, and I know he would never answer, pick up yet. I even messaged him on his comment board, letting him know that I had answered his question. I had answered his question, right? And I had posed some questions towards him. And it's obvious because this is the hypocrisy of Christians. All right? This is the hypocrisy of Christians. All right? And this is the effeminate, this Christianity makes our men effeminate, makes our men, boy. But the thing is, all right, you're watching this, you are taking a look at this verse here, verse 1. All right? Because, I wonder if I could get, just bear with me. Let me see if I could get here. Let me see if I could get here. Just bear with me. I can't remember exactly where it is in Leviticus. What the hell? What the hell? What by confirmation? I'm a reason why I'm spelling out the full word. Let me see. What have we put up here? Let me see. I think it's it. We'll put in. Like it's not there. I must see something with Deuteronomy 23. What boy? 23 and 21. Let me see some of that. Just bear with me. Salakia about that. Salakia about that. So lucky about that. 23 and 21. How to go back? All right, good. Right, Exodus to water. Exodus 24 and 8. It was Exodus, not Leviticus. Exodus 24 and 8. All right, let me see. I will start from 1. And he said, this is Exodus 24 and 1. And he said unto Moses, come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. And Moses alone shall come near unto the Lord, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with him. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and the judgment. And the people answered with one voice. And the people answered with one voice and said, all the word which the Lord had said we will do, which is going into what the laws, the statutes, the commandments. And Moses wrote all the words of Yahweh, and rose up early in the morning and builded an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people, and they said, all that the Lord had said we will do, and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord had made with you concerning all these words. All right? So, when you go back to Deuteronomy 28, again, all right? Because we swore on that oath, right? We swore on that oath. And with that oath, which comes with came, I'm going to take my time here, which came with a covenant, all right? As long as we had done it, according to Deuteronomy 28, he would have set us on high above all the nations upon the face of the earth. This is not speaking about the whole world, as Christians would try to twist the scripture and try to bring it as the whole world. Right? Okay? Because when you go down now to verse 15, to verse 14, all right? Deuteronomy 28 and 14, and thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So again, we know for a fact the children of Israel was very, 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 very rebellious. Right? We broke that oath. We broke that oath. And by breaking that oath, breaking that covenant, breaking that promise that we made with the Lord, breaking that deal that we made with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the curses fell upon us. And by the curses falling upon us, right? Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder. The curses shall be upon thee for a sign, and the sign, again we're going into the word sign, All right?
Strong's H 226. Oath. Oath.
All right? Sign, it what goes into what? Sign, signal, a distinguishing mark, a banner, remembrance. All right? Which goes back to the word testimony. All right? Miraculous sign, omen, warning, token, ensign, standard, miracle, but most importantly, proof. Proof. Okay? Proof. Right? So now, come out of that. All right? Go back to what I was reading. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever, forever, forever. All right? When I go into the word seed, it goes into offspring. I don't want to go through all of that. You should know that. All right? But you see, sometimes you just have to go down to the smallest, minute with these Christians and them because they so love to play dumb and stupid. All right? So with us, so with us now, with the last curse here, Deuteronomy 28:68, which is the main curse, right? Which is the main curse. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, with ships by the whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen and bondwoman, and no man shall buy you. That word buy is to redeem. All right? Because who is our Redeemer? Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who the world calls Jesus Christ. All right? He is our Redeemer. The Redeemer shall come out of what? Shall come out of Zion. All right? So the Most High God is only dealing with Israel and Israel only. Right? And our slavery is proof of who we are. Because if it was another nation that went into slavery by the way of cargo slave ship, well, okay. Well, then that nation automatically, they would have been the children of Israel. They would have been the people of the book. Right? But they did not went through curses like these. Right? Look, verse 54. I'm going through some more curses. Yesterday I went through one or two curses. I'm going through some more. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother and toward his wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. What nation of people where their men is known for physically abusing their wives and getting their women pregnant and leaving the children behind? What nation of people is known for single parenting? Right? Daddy was a rolling stone. Wherever he go, he leave his hat there and call it home. That's roughly paraphrasing the old saying. All right? Because the so-called black community, it is well known for fatherless children. These are the curses that we would suffer for being disobedient. All right? Verse 55. So that he will not give of. Let me see. All right? No, I ain't even finished breakdown verse 54. All right? His eye shall be evil towards his brother. What nation you know? What people you know is known for killing out each other? All right? We are known for that. Because again, it goes back to the curses. So-called black on black crime. All right? Verse 55. So that he will not give any to them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he had nothing left him in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. Just goes back to 70 AD. All right, when the Romans come past us and surrounded us, and we couldn't have escaped. All right, and a great famine ensued, in which a lot of our people was practicing cannibalism. Right, which goes back to the curses. But verse 56, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole upon her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward her husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, right, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear. All right, our women are known, the women of our nation are known for, for coming up against their husband, all right, are known for coming up against their husbands, all right, known for putting their husband before the court and what have you. A lot of our women, all right, our women are known when they go into what they call this thing, abortion. Who has the highest abortion rate amongst all the nations? The so-called black woman. All right, because they drink the juice of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right, with the family planning and what have you. All right, which all these Planned Parenthood centers is situated where? In the ghettos. All right, where they encourage the so-called black woman to do what? To abort their children, which goes according to the curse. All right, continuing, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. And this curse did take place. All right, verse 59, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues for a long countenance, and sore sickness and of long countenance. All right, our nation, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, we are known for major sickness, major diseases, right? Diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer. It is rampant among our people. Because why? It goes back to the curses. Because it's not only slavery. You have to look at the condition of your people. Yeah? Look at the condition of your people. Look at how your people living. When you go back up to let me see. Yeah. Go back up to verse 43. It reads what? The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Here it is. Who is the strangers? These other nations. Look, for instance, in Trinidad here. All right? We came here as slaves. All right? We come and meet our brothers and sisters of the Northern Kingdom, the Caribs and the Arawaks, who was respectively the tribe of Gad and the tribe of Reuben. All right? But here it is, these Syrians came after us. The East Indians came after us. The Chinese came after us. And look at them. All right? The Syrians on them, they damn well run the country. Right? Who it is own nearly all the businesses, the hardwares and the grocery stores, all these big grocery stores and whatnot, is the so-called East Indians. The so-called Chinese just come the other day. And they also too is known for setting up shop with groceries and what have you, till they even have Chinese association. All right? When you go over to Babylon where you live, America, all right? The so-called white man, well, they totally run the show. And running behind after them is the Arabs, the Chinese and the Arabs and what have you. Yeah? And the East Indians, where they come and set up shop in your neighborhoods, and you all don't own nothing. You all have no business, no nothing. Right? Because again, it goes back to the curses, because the Most High say what? We would not prosper. He would make us to not prosper. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. These other nations are over us. We cannot go to a matter of fact, I go pay. The Syrians them don't come to we to borrow money. Alright? Who owns the banking system? The so-called white man. These other nations don't come to us. What bank? What financial institute does the so-called black man owns? Nothing. None. Because it goes back to the curses, which is the proof that we are the children of Israel. Because we swore unto Moses. We swore unto Yahweh, the Most High God, through Moses, and what? Made a blood covenant with that oath that we swore. Right? To back it up, when you go to Deuteronomy 30 and I think 15, I think I'll start from 15. No, let me see. Verse 10, Deuteronomy 30 and 10. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of law, if thou turn unto the Lord thy God with all thine heart and all thy soul, and with all thy soul, for this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it, which goes back to the law, statutes, and commandments, because why? The Most High gave it to Moses, for Moses to teach us, and for us to teach our generations unto generation, as ordered by the Most High God. All right? Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, who shall go for us? All right? Who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, which is your mind, not that thing what beating in your chest, that thou mayest do it. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, death and evil. Right? Which goes back to what? If you do the commandments, if you keep the law, if you keep the promise, the Most High will give you everlasting life, along with what? The blessings. All right? Verse 16. In that day I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply, and the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them, I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, and ye shall not prolong your days upon the land, whether thou pass it over Jordan to go to possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you. Moses said, I call heaven and earth to be witness of this oath that you swore unto the Most High God, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. All right? And you could go ahead and read the rest there, the last verse there. All right? So our slavery did take place, because we did not obey the Most High God. Right? Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look with failing all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. That didn't went on with no other nations, where they're watching the children being sold before them, being taken off of slave ships, transported in slave ships and being sold. It didn't happen to the other nations, where you have 5 children and you're watching your 5 children being sold one by one on auction blocks to different slave masters. Your child might end up in Jamaica, your next child might end up in St. Vincent on a plantation. You understand? Because this was prophesied, our slavery was prophesied. When you go to Psalms, you Christians really don't know the scriptures. And then have a problem with us for coming out with the truth of the scriptures. This is what this can't take with all you. This is Psalms 83 and 1. It reads, Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And thy enemies make a tumult, which is what? A noise of war. Yes, the Lord has enemies. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Right? So yes, they have people out there that hate the Most High, which is these other nations. All right? Because he does not love them. He only loves the nation of Israel. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And we will see what is that crafty counsel, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who's the hidden ones? Us, Israel. Right? Because 2/3 in Israel don't even know who they is, and they don't even consider. All right? They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation. Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Right? And this goes back to prophecy. I'll come back to that. Jeremiah 17 and 4, it reads, And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. All right? Not religion, but heritage, which is the lost. A matter of fact, let me go into that word heritage.
Strong's H 5159. Nachala. Nachala.
Right? Right? Heritage, possession, property, which is our land, the inheritance. All right? That law, that statutes, that commandments, heritage, property, portion, share, inheritance. Let me see something here now. All right? To get as a possession. What is that that we possess? The laws, the statutes, and the commandment. To acquire, inherit, possess. To take possession, inherit. To have or get as a possession or property. To divide the land for a possession. All right? Because the Most High said he would have driven us out from the land. All right? Which did take place. To acquire. Right? All right? So you see here. All right? A scripture that just come to my head. Scripture that just come to my head there. Because all these scriptures I going by is off my head. All right? But anyhow. Right? Shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. It now come back to my head. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. All right? Because why? We serve other gods. All right? We went and worship other gods. So, the scripture that what I was going to is Psalms 137 and 19. No. Psalms 147, Salakia. 147 and 19. Alright? It says, He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. Alright? His statutes and his judgments. Alright? Unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nation. He never gave his laws, his word is nothing. Unto no other nation, none. As for his judgments, they have not known them. Why? Why the nations have not known his judgment? Because he never gave them the law. The judgments of whether you follow or if you do not follow. Alright? Praise ye the Lord. So when you go back now to Psalms 83. All right. All right, where you said, right? Psalms 83 and 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. That was us discontinuing. Even Paul spoke about it in 2 Thessalonians 2, and I think it's 3. Yeah, 2 and 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. That falling away is Israel losing their heritage, Israel forgetting of who they are, of being a nation, a people. All right? And that man of sin be revealed. All right? And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Which is, who's that man of sin being revealed? The son of perdition, the son of destruction. Esau, Edom. All right? So back to Psalms 83. All right? Verse 5, it says, they have consulted together with one consent. Yeah, they have consulted together with one consent. And you will see who it is consult with one consent. All right? They are confederate against thee. Right? When they go into that word confederate, I'm doing my best to break it down.
Strong's H1285.
All right?
Berith.
Salak, yeah.
Berith.
All right. All right, it's berith, right? All right, so watch it. Covenant, alliance, yeah? A pledge between men, treaty, alliance, league, man to man, right? Constitution, ordinance, monarch to subjects, agreement, pledge, man to man. So these nations, they make a pledge, all right? An alliance, a friendship, all right? Okay? This is what it was. Let me see if I can get more. To eat, to consume, for eating, for devouring. When I say literally eat, when I say eat, I don't mean literally eat. It means to what? To conquer. All right? To conquer. To bring down. To bring down that nation, that people, to a low estate. All right? So come out of that. Back to the scripture. It says, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. The tabernacles, all right? The tabernacles, the nation, the house. Look who first on the list. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And the Ishmaelites, which is the Arabs, those Arabs, right? Those Muslims, all right? Of Moab, which is who? The so-called Chinese. And the Hagarenes, which is those so-called Africans, all right? Gibal, another band of Africans. And Ammon, the so-called Japanese. And Amalek. Amalek is who? Those fake Jews over in the Holy Land, calling themselves Jews, but are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And the Philistines, which is who? Another band of Africans. And the inhabitants of Tyre and Asher is also joined with them. All right? What you're reading here is the co-conspirators of the sub-Saharan and the transatlantic slave trade that King David was prophesying well over 3,000 years ago. All right? Because it is a well-known documented fact. It is a well-known documented fact that the Arabs were the perpetrators of the sub-Saharan slave trade. Right, where they took us from off the north and certain parts of Eastern Africa, when we fled into Africa to hide amongst the Africans, right? Where they made a deal with the Africans because they didn't really know us, because you couldn't pinpoint, because remember we look like the Africans because we went to hide amongst them, but the Africans, they know us because hey, we are a nation that always stand out like a sore thumb. Right, like a horse among a stack of pigs. All right? We are a nation that stands out because of our laws, the laws that the Most High gave to us. So it was the Africans who rounded us up, right? When they always come into war against us, and when we've been defeated, what they will do, they will round us up and sell us to the Arabs. And the Arabs will make merchandise unto us, will make merchandise of us, to the so-called Chinese, the Japanese, the East Indians, and all throughout Asia. The same thing they did with the so-called white man. They did to us with the so-called white man. All right? The so-called white man paid these Africans with wine and musket guns and what have you to round us up, to put us on the slave ships, to bring us across here, to serve slavery, to build America and what have you. All right? This is this transatlantic slave trade. By the way, when you go back to Joel 3, Joel 3 and 1, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, and I will gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, all right, which is in the Holy Land, because that's going into World War III. This dog. And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. All right? How did they part his land? Through the Balfour Declaration. All right? When I go to Ezekiel, I'll go into it. Ezekiel 36 and 5. It says, therefore said the Lord, Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea, right? Which is who? Esau, Edom, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their hearts, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Because how did the land get divided? It got divided between the Arabs, right? And these Amalekites, in what you're seeing the war going on right now between Palestine and Israel. Those fake Jews, those Amalekites. Because this is prophecy taking place before your eyes. All right? So when you go back now, so when you go back to Joel, all right? Joel 3 and 3, and I've cast lots for my people, and I've given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yeah? This is what take place. Buck breaking. You know much of our ancestors, the little boys that turn into homosexuals. Yeah? Or they would take the strongest man on the plantation and rape him. All right? Before the whole plantation, before everybody on the plantation, to intimidate the slaves, so that it wouldn't have an uprising, it wouldn't have a revolt. And this is the thing, this will show you how wicked you Christians are, especially you so-called Negro Christians. Here it is all these atrocities that was done unto us during the days of slavery. Right? All these atrocities was done unto us. But yet still, we mustn't speak out against it. We must stay quiet. Right? We must stay quiet and act like nothing ever happened. We must forget about it. Here it is. Every September 11th, right? These wicked American politicians and what have you, these wicked world leaders just always say, you must never forget World War II. You must never forget 9/11 and what happened and what have you. But when it comes to us, and speaking out against the atrocious atrocities that take place with us, right? That take place with us on the ships, on the voyages of the ships, where a lot of our women, the pregnant woman would do, they cut open the belly and take the child out, yeah? And smash the child on the floors of the ships. or smash or mash the child head. Yeah? Or how much of our women and men they throw overboard. Yeah? How you think sharks that come across here on this Western Hemisphere? Because of the slaves who was being thrown overboard. The sharks was feeding on them. Right? But we mustn't speak about it, right? Right? What have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, which is these Africans, these stinking Africans, and all the coast of Palestine, which is these Arabs, right? These Ishmaelites, who are the descendants of Ishmael, these Arabs. Will ye render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? All right? Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. All right? This is what you did. You sold us unto the so-called white man. Now, when you go into that word Grecian, all right, it says Yavan. That's now. I'm going to go to it.
Strong's H 3125. Yevani. Yevani. Second entry. Yavan. Yavan.
Right? Now, Yavan was a son of Japhet. But it was not, this is them trying to be slick. Right? It was not the children of Japhet we was being sold to. All right? Let me see something here. Let me see a little bit more. No. Come out of that. All right? Let's go to let me see something. Let me see. Let me see here. Just bear with me. Let me see here. Amos 1 and 6. Let me see here. How to be Amos 1 and 6. Let me see. No, Amos 1 and 9. Yeah, I had that right. Amos 1 and 9. So let me go to it. All right. Amos 1 and 9. All right. I will start I could read 6 and then jump down. It says, thus says the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, which is those Arabs, and for 4, I will not turn, because who is dwelling in Gaza right now? These Arabs. All right? These Ishmaelites. The scripture don't lie. All right? And for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they carried away captive the whole captivity. Right? Who is the whole captivity? Israel, to deliver them up to Edom. Right? To sell us to these so-called white man. All right? This is what the Arabs and the Africans and the Chinese and all, they all conspired for our downfall. All right? Verse 9. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they deliver up the whole captivity to Edom, and remember not the brotherly covenant. Right? This is what these so-called Africans do, and our people so stupid. Here it is. You have a goodly heritage, a true heritage, a rich heritage of being the children of Israel, But yet still, you still want to consider yourself a stinking African. This is how stupid our people is. When these Africans, not one of them will come and take you back home to take it to your so-called wannabe motherland, Africa. This is how stupid our people is. This is how low our people have. They don't have a ruling class mentality. But don't worry, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua is going to put to death all you niggas who want to consider yourself Africans. Yeah? So when you go back now to Joel, it reads what? Joel 3 and 4. And ye, what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, I will return your recompense upon your own head. If you try to feel you could pay back the Most High for what you have done unto us, don't feel you could do it, because you have a judgment. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried them into your temples, my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah, which is us so-called Negroes, and the children of Jerusalem, ye have sold unto the Grecian, that ye might move them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them. And this is what you're seeing now, prophecy. Prophecy. Yeah? Prophecy. Revelation, I think it's 20 and 10. Revelation 20. And 10, let me see something. No, 9 is 20 or 21, boy. That's no, just bear with me. Yeah, Revelation 19 and 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahushua, the proof of Yahushua, the proof is the spirit of prophecy. And you Christians, you all don't go into prophecy, because our slavery is prophecy. Us going into slavery is prophecy. It's prophesied in the scripture that it would happen, and it did take place because of our disobedience. So that question that you asked is a very stupid question. It makes no sense. All right? It makes no sense. When I go to, let me see something here. When I go to 2nd Ezra 15 and 1, it says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. Right? It's all about prophecy. The scriptures is all about prophecy, and you Christians don't deal with prophecy. You don't go into prophecy. You Christians just want to read from the back of the book, start from Matthew, right? And go down and feel, well, all right, to get the understanding of the whole scripture there. That is show how stupid you all is, because 3/4 are good, not 3/4, but a lot in the prophecy is still to come. Not all the prophecies in the Old Testament has been fulfilled. Not all when you go to Matthew, I think it's Matthew 10 and 15, you know. Just bear with me. I think it's Matthew 10 and 15, but 10 and 5. Let me see 10 and 5 first. No, let me go down to 15. No. Where it is, boy. Let me see something. Let me see Matthew 7 first. Let me see Matthew 7. Nope, it's not Matthew 7 neither. Let me see something. Think not that I came to destroy the law. Alright? With shocks, like the Wi-Fi get turned off. But anyhow, you know what I'm speaking about, right? Because he didn't came to destroy the prophets, right? Right? Till the prophecy, till all the prophecies be fulfilled. Alright, that's roughly paraphrasing. Alright? Matthew 17 and 5, I think. Let me see. I had to get a scripture, but it beaten me. I had to get a scripture. I wonder if I'll get it in the although I do have Wi-Fi, once I'll be able to type it properly. You have to be very accurate. You see? Let me see. 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 Anyhow, frick that. I see it on playing up. Alright? But yeah. Where was I? Almost finished with this lesson here. Alright? So I'm going back. I'm going back to Joel. Alright, Joel 3. Alright, Joel 3. And where he said what? Where he said verse 7, he said, behold, I will raise them out of the place whether ye have sold them. Whether ye have sold them and will return your recompense upon your own head. Alright, so when you go back, you go to Deuteronomy 28 where he talks about us being sold. And then you go to Book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 6, where he said you were sold. Baruch 4 and 6, you were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. For ye provoke him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not the Most High. Alright? For ye have forgotten the everlasting that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. Alright? Alright? For when she saw the wrath of the Most High coming upon you, she said, hearken, O ye that dwell about Zion, Yahweh had brought upon me great mourning. For I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them, because it's he put us into slavery. Alright? It's he that put us into slavery. Right? Watch this. For he had brought a nation upon thee from afar, a shameless nation of a strange language, who neither reverence old nor pitied child. So when you go back to the curses, right? Watch how this going to link. In 3 scriptures, this scripture is going to link with 2 other scriptures. Watch this. Deuteronomy 28, back to the curses. Deuteronomy 28, and I think it's 59. No, not 59, 50, let me see. Let me go up a bit more. I think it's 50, you know. Yeah, verse 50, yeah. Deuteronomy 28 and 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. No, Salakia. Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar. Who is that? That is so-called, that is that wicked Edomite, that wicked so-called white man called Christopher Columbus. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. All right? What emblem does what people use the eagle as their emblem? The so-called white man, mainly America, the American bald eagle. The prophecy right in your face. All right? The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from one end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue shall not understand. Right? A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance, who shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. So now let's link this with Isaiah 47. I'll scroll through. I think it's 7, you know. Not 7. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah. Isaiah 47 and 6. Where the Mosiah say what? I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. This is Yahweh Hashem Yahshai speaking unto Esau Edom here. Right? He was wroth with us. He was angry with us for our idol worship. Worshipping all these idols. Bowing to these idols, these false gods. Alright? And given them into thine hand, which is who Esau Edom. Thou didst show them no mercy. They didn't show us any mercy. Upon the ancient, which is the old, right? Thou hast heavily laid thy yoke. Right? So when I go back to the Deuteronomy 28 and 49, what it said? The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from one end of the earth, even as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Right? Where Christopher Columbus sailed from quite over in Europe to across here and dealt with the so-called natives, the Native Americans and the Caribs and the Arawaks and what have you. Right? Which proves they are also are the